Welcome to the Beverage Business Hub Podcast, where we talk digital marketing for your small to medium-sized beverage brand. If you're looking to grow your wine, spirits, or drinks business in a digital world, then you're in the right place. Sit back, pour a glass, and soak up a world of knowledge from experts in this space to get better results with fewer resources and in half the time. Before we dive into this episode, subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a beat and you can stay ahead in a crowded marketplace. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Most wineries don't need more marketing ideas. They already have plenty. The difficult part is really knowing what deserves their attention next. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about the difference between what marketing should do and what problem we should solve next. So I'm going to share just a couple of stories and examples from working with multiple wineries and brands all around the world, from Canada to Argentina to Australia to the US. So you guys can understand where the next priority should be within your own business. And instead of just doing activity for activity's sake, actually have a clear roadmap and a plan to kind of guide you and grow your business in the most sustainable way. So recently we ran a cellar door growth pilot program. It was a program that was aimed at helping to bring more cellar door visits through online bookings, through online advertising, primarily through meta ads and also through Instagram and organic social media. And the reason why we set up this pilot program was because we had a sticky situation with one of our clients where they were not able to get bookings directly through their website because of some laws, some alcohol laws and restrictions in the Ontario region in Canada. Now, we had such a tremendous success with this campaign. I think in the first 30 days, the winery had about 70 new bookings to come in and try the wine, which was absolutely phenomenal, all through this online campaign. So we decided to set up this test pilot program to see how this would work in different parts of the world because, there are so many variables. Yes, wineries have a similar business model, but it really depends on your location, what your price point is, where your brand, what the awareness of your brand currently is at. We decided to test this on a very affordable pilot program with a bunch of different wineries around the world. Anyway, we started working on this one winery account and we went through all of our strategy and we created our assets and we uploaded them into Meta and we set our campaign and set our campaign objectives. And we were getting off to a really good start. Within the first 7 to 10 days, we had about 23 leads. We were getting those leads at about $3 Australian. Now, after 7 to 10 days, this winery reached out and said that they wanted to stop the campaign and they had already spent $100 and they had not had one single booking from the campaign. Now, while that was, a bit disappointing. Obviously, we would have liked to see a conversion from that initial push. There were some variables, right? This tasting experience was sitting at a rather high end at $50, which is, higher than most other tasting experiences. Also, I'm not sure about their current awareness. I'm not sure how known this brand is within its kind of location and ecosystem. And lastly, their actual ad account hadn't ran that many campaigns before. It was a fairly new account. A couple of campaigns had been made, but it wasn't a really finely tuned meta account or pixel. And the reason why I'm sharing this story is because I think that there's a real misunderstanding when it comes to creating campaigns and meta ads and why they quote unquote don't work. And I think it's because there is a bit of an unrealistic expectation about what meta ads can realistically achieve and what you're getting out of them. So people think with advertising, you're going to get a conversion. Basically, the reason why you run ads is because you want to get sales. And in a world where you have a massive brand, people know you, you have ran multiple ads before, so the meta data and pixel understands exactly who your audience is. If you have tested creative and tested your offers before and you know that they're converting, yes, you can absolutely use meta ads to make a sale. However, something that we really try and help our clients understand is that when you're starting to run ads, especially for the first time, you're basically paying for data. You're not really paying for sales straight away. You have to build your funnel. You have to build your ecosystem. It's a great tool to be able to test different creative, test different offers, test different campaigns, and look at that feedback that Meta is going to give you, and then you can make tweaks based on the feedback in order to improve your results. So when you think like about a traditional funnel, right? You can't get a sale if nobody knows who you are. You can't send out an email if you don't have any email subscribers. I think we have to really start looking at, instead of just expecting, to go from never running ads to getting 70 bookings, within 30 days, we really have to zoom out and think, okay, have we done the groundwork to even capture an audience? Like, do we have an active social media audience or presence? Are there people engaging with our content? And once you have that bigger pool of people and brand awareness, then you can look at the next step in the funnel. Okay, what do we need to do next? Well, we need to capture these people into our email funnel. Why? Because email is where you make the sale. You don't make sales on social media. You create your brand awareness around social media, and then you funnel them into your ecosystem, into your email list, nurture them through email, and you set up your flows to sell directly in email. When I was doing social media for wineries, that's how I started 10 years ago in Piedmont, helping different wineries with their social media campaigns. And after a while, I realized, we were getting such tremendous results. We were getting so much brand awareness, so much engagement. We were getting people actually learning about this winery from the other side of the world. But I kept on finding that wineries were so frustrated because they were like, we want sales. Like, we don't want brand awareness. We want more sales. And while that is great, that is what is actually led me down the path of email marketing and building out whole funnels, because I also want sales too. 981 people bought wine, 22 joined the wine club, and 22 cancelled. Net growth, 0. When I saw those numbers during a recent audit, I stopped, because on the surface, everything looked healthy. But when we looked closer, we found something most wineries never see. Customers were coming in, but they weren't progressing. First-time buyers weren't coming back. Cellar door visitors, they weren't being nurtured after they left. And new wine club members were cancelling at almost the exact same rate that they were joining. The problem wasn't more marketing. They needed to know where customers were getting stuck. That's why we created the Vin & Bitter DTC Growth Audit. We map your entire customer journey and identify the gaps stopping visitors from becoming long-term customers. And you'll walk away with a clear roadmap of what's working, what's missing, and where your biggest opportunities are hiding. Because the biggest opportunity usually isn't finding more customers, it's doing more with the ones you already know. Head to www.vinum-vita.com and click Growth Audit to apply. That's vinum-vita.com and click Growth Audit to apply. Now let's continue with this episode.
Compared to what you do on this report, which after I've gone through it twice now and you upgraded it, I just want to say thank you to both of you. That was probably one of the better reports that I've commissioned in my life. It wasn't, well, here's what's wrong, but it was like, here's what's wrong, fix it, and here's who can do it if you want. So the money I spent with you guys on that was best money I've spent this year.
When I really dove deeper into what does it actually take to get sales, it's a bit like saying, I just want the business to perform better. And it's like, okay, Or I just want this wine to taste better. And it's like, okay, can you imagine like telling a winemaker, like the winemaker's, going through his blends and he's putting them together and he's getting his team together to come try his wines. And he's like, what's your feedback? What do you think? And the team just says, I want this to taste better. I want this wine to taste better. What does that actually even mean? Like, okay, does it need more acidity? Does it need more tannin? Is the fruit not concentrated enough? Like, let's dissect this. So I think we need to start having this same approach when it comes to online, DTC, more sales. Like, what does that even mean for your winery? Are you wanting more people to join your club? Is your club your main focus right now? And, you want to increase that by 20%. Do you want to sell more single vintage or more of your iconic or museum wines? Like, are you wanting to get more margin on your wine? Are you wanting to like move more of that stock? Are you finding that you're getting a lot of people come through the cellar door and they always make a purchase, but then you never see them again? They never purchase from you again. So, the amount of time and energy and money that it's taken to actually acquire that one customer, or do we need to put some more time and energy into actually increasing the lifetime value of these customers? Are you getting people to your website or to your cellar door and they don't buy? Are people just like wandering in or clicking onto the website? Maybe you've had 10,000 people visit your website in the last quarter and no one bought. Okay, is that the number that we want to improve? So I think starting with that statement of we need more sales and then really dissecting like where and why you want those sales, because that is going to help you understand where to prioritize your time and where for your team to prioritize their time. So instead of just making more activity and putting up social media posts and changing our software stack and running an event, it's like, well, why are we doing these things? And are all of the efforts being directed into one specific area, which is going to move the needle the fastest, where the lowest hanging fruit is that we can then build upon? So this is typically what happens, when someone does decide, all right, I want to invest in DTC. I want to invest in building our brand online. And, they come to us and we get on a call and usually they say something like, I know that we need to improve. I know what we need to be doing, but I just don't know where to start. And that is such a reasonable problem to have. And it's why we created our DC growth audits, is to really uncover where is the right next place for this individual winery to start. Because depending on what you've got and what you've done and the resources you have and where these gaps are, that's going to help you determine, all right, so do we need to be on social media? Do we need to create more video content? Do we need to run ads? Do we need to set up our email marketing programs? Does our club or website need a rehaul? Do we need to swap our software stack over to someone else? And yes, in an ideal world, we want all of this, right? But they can't all be a number one priority. So instead of asking, okay, where should we start or what should we do, we start looking at what customers are already doing. We look at, okay, where do most of the customers discover the winery? What is happening once visitors are clicking on the website? What are they clicking on? Where are they dropping off? What happens when someone subscribes to an email list? What is the nurture flow? Are you actually delivering on the promise that you have of what a club member actually gets? Is it compelling enough for them to want to stick around and not jump to another club? So that's when we really start to see some interesting things and seeing where people disappear. So another recent audit that we did for a winery in, lots of Canadian ones today, in the Okanagan, they came to us with this wanting to do an audit, and their impression was that they had a really healthy club. And they did have a really good, healthy club. They had hundreds of members, like hundreds, And for a brand that size and for how long it's been around, It has 3-4 times the club members in some of the wineries we work with who have been established for 20-30 years. They had great recurring revenue. They had people joining constantly. They were pitching it at the cellar door. Like, things were going great. But when we actually uncovered this audit, we found that people were leaving the membership at the same rate that they were joining. So they actually weren't really growing at all. They were just replacing. And the amount of bandwidth and team energy that is going in to acquire these customers for them just to be leaving at almost the same rate is kind of heartbreaking. So can you see how this changes the priority completely? They didn't have an acquisition problem. They had a retention problem. So the next priority for them, for this winery, was to start looking at why people were dropping off, how we can improve this number, looking at things like how long does the average member stay and what actually happens before they leave. It did give the winery so much more clarity on where their team should be focusing their time. Then all of the wins that we found in the audit. So we looked at their first purchase flow, which was something that we had actually built for them at the end of last year, 2025. And we figured out that it had generated over 5 figures in revenue since we set it up. It was one of their most highest performing flows. And that gave us a massive clue because while we had the first purchase set up, we hadn't had a second purchase. So with this big number and this piece of data, we were able to understand that the next flow that they should be building is the second purchase flow. So I think sometimes we're so obsessed with just finding the new opportunity, like the new channel, the new social media, like TikTok. We need to be here. We need to be there. We need to change from MailChimp over to Klaviyo. We need this new shiny DTC tech stack that just popped up. But in reality, we just need to look at what the data is showing us and build on what we can see. And I think that's what makes a great marketer. It's not the ability to come up with these mind-blowing, crazy ideas and campaigns. It's actually doing the grueling work of looking at data, looking at where the next opportunity is, building on that new opportunity. If it doesn't work or if there is something broken in that chain, then working on fixing that instead of having this shiny object syndrome and throwing spaghetti at the wall and trying this and trying that and trying that. And we've all been there, right? I've been there. But I've slowly learned over time that it is so much more powerful to compound on each activity and just build the building blocks. Like, that is how you build a house, right? It's not sexy. It's slow, and you got to get the foundations right. And if there's an issue with the foundation, then you have to go back and relay it. And it's grueling, kind of quote unquote boring work. But that's how you build something sustainable. So I think this is why this Meta Ads story and this 70 bookings kind of wish from this winery really stuck with me and really got me thinking, because unfortunately, I feel like this winery was very quick to jump to the conclusion that this strategy, quote unquote, doesn't work. Whereas the mindset shift that I would love to see around wineries is, how can we establish a baseline? What is running this campaign teaching us? What are we actually learning from these activities and these outputs? Are people clicking and giving us their email address, but they're just not booking in yet? Is there some sort of friction that's happening on the booking page or the landing page? From there, we can make better decisions. Okay, maybe we do need to increase our spend a little bit to get this feedback quicker. It takes time for Meta to give you data and feedback. Like, you're not going to get it in a week or 2 weeks. You do need to run campaigns for a significant amount of time in order to get feedback. And if you don't have the time, well, maybe we need to increase our spend, because that's going to give us the feedback faster too. Do we need to work on our audiences? Is it the creative that needs some work? Or do we need to stop the campaign entirely and rewrite it, basically? And any of those can be the correct answer. And good marketing it's not about knowing the answer. It's not about being able to generate the sales. Like, I'm sorry, but if I could do that, I would be a magician and I wouldn't be a marketer and I probably wouldn't be working in this job. If I could guarantee results like 70 bookings or 100 sales or 100x your ROI, like if I could do that, I probably wouldn't be working with small wineries. I'd probably be commissioned to solve the world's problems like climate change and politics and, like it's just unrealistic. I think that we really need to think about what marketing really is, and it's about creating activity, looking at the data, and using that learning in order to improve our next decision and to make sure that it's better than the last one. So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk back about this winery in Ontario that we've been working with. And we've been working with them for over 12 months, all right? This isn't like a 1-month gig. This isn't a 3-month project. Like, this is 12 months of solid work of making decisions for the business, analyzing the decisions, and tweaking the marketing based on what we find. And on our last call, Vitaly just shared that he has had his 7th consecutive record sales month. He's had a 35% increase year on year from last year. Now, again, these are phenomenal results, and you can listen to testimonials on our YouTube channel from Vitaly himself and from other wineries.
July was a very remarkable month. It could be kind of like a milestone. You remember the last call, I was kind of in a sour mood, that it was slow. And guess what? It turned out to be another record month. And not just record. July and August historically were like really, really down months and really poor sales. This July, it's not just the record for July, it would be the record for all other months. It was the 7th month in a row with record sales. And I'm 36% year over year altogether. Last year, a year ago, I wouldn't probably dream about the results like this.
But the reason why I want to share it is because, it did take 12 months of consistent work. There wasn't one magic campaign. There wasn't one magic email. There wasn't one magic ad. There wasn't one dramatic breakthrough that happened. We did the work of looking at where the issue was, looking at what's happening, looking at where that next opportunity is, where the lowest hanging fruit is, making the change, seeing how the audience and customers respond, learn from that opportunity, and then make another decision. Some things didn't work. Some things really surprised us. Some completely changed what the next course of events were going to be in the next month or the next quarter. So, sometimes we see these impressive results online or impressive results from the winery down the road, like 35% growth. We see them, having all this success when the rest of the industry is quote unquote struggling. But what we don't see is in the middle. We don't see the testing. We don't see the campaigns that weren't amazing. We don't see the small improvements. We don't see the investment of resources in time and money in order to get to where he is today. Most wineries that I work with are definitely not lazy. They are doing a lot. They're doing the emails, they're doing the social, doing the events, doing the cellar, doing the wine club, doing the content, doing all the things. But I don't think the answer is let's do more and more and more. I think the question is, all that activity, is it actually creating progression? Going back to the wine club analogy, 50 new wine club members sounds great, unless 50 wine club members also leave. More website traffic sounds great, unless you're not actually converting anyone on your website. More email campaigns sounds productive, unless customers aren't coming back. A meta campaign sounds like progress, unless we don't learn anything from it. So here, guys, I'm going to leave you with this. If I was deciding where my next dollar or my next 10 hours should go towards building my winery, I would look at these 4 questions. Number 1, where are my customers actually already coming from? Don't assume, but actually look at the data and see where they're coming from. Number 2, where are we losing them? Is our website converting? Are people making a second purchase after their first? Are people visiting the cellar door and not buying? Are people purchasing a lot, but they're not joining our wine club? 3, what is already working? There's going to be somewhere within your marketing, online or offline, that you are producing results and you're not maximizing that opportunity. There's going to be something that's working. Go find that and compound on it. And number 4, which is huge, guys, what are we assuming? People will say, we need more club members. Okay, do we? We need to get 70 bookings at the cellar door. Okay, do we? We need to grow our social media and go viral. Okay, do we? And if you do, what are you actually basing those decisions on? Like, what tangible data are you basing those decisions on? Are they reasonable, or are you just like praying on a wish and a prayer? So guys, I'm not arguing against activity. Activity is great. It's great to run ads. It's great to do emails. It's great to do content. It's great to do websites. I'm just arguing on deciding what the tactics should be before actually understanding what the problem is. So I don't think the question should be, okay, what else should we be doing? I think it's, what problem should we solve next? The first one creates an endless list of marketing activities, and the second one gives you a priority. It gives your team a focus, and it gives you something to analyze and build on. Because once those decisions start to compound, that's when you eventually get the 7-month records. That's when you get the 35% year-on-year growth. That's when you get the stronger wine club. That's when you get better DTC business. Not because you found one brilliant tactic, but because you got better at deciding what mattered next. So guys, this is exactly why we created the Vin and Bitter DTC Growth Audit. It's for wineries who know that there are things that could improve, but they're just not sure where to start. We look at the entire DTC journey. We look at what's working, where customers are dropping off, where revenue is coming from, where the biggest opportunities actually are. Then we help you prioritize what deserves your attention next. Because most wineries don't need another list of marketing ideas. They need clarity on which ones actually matter right now. So I hope you guys love this episode. Share it with a fellow wine industry friend, marketer, business owner, and we will see you in the next episode. Ciao for now. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Beverage Business Hub Podcast. To dive deeper and learn more from the experts in this episode, check out the show notes and hit subscribe so you never miss a beat keeping digital.